Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thanks for joining us on this quick lesson about creating cascading open scale patterns on guitar. These are beautiful little combinations of open strings and fretted notes. Sometimes you can even throw in hammer-ons and pull-offs to create a unique sounding scale. It's just everything ringing together. It's just so many things ringing together. I remember the first time I heard it, the great fingerstyle guitarist Adrian Legg. I was listening to a piece of his, and he just whipped out this lick that it was like a C major, a C pentatonic, but everything was ringing together, and it just kind of bent my ear in a completely different way. Kind of a harp cascading sort of a sound. So that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead and take a look at the PDF there. Took me a while to figure out what old Adrian Legg was doing. This is in an age before YouTube, so I had to kind of just listen to it and figure out what he was doing. But I couldn't figure out how he was getting different notes, like you would normally play a C scale maybe, or maybe. But how could, that sounds very different than this. Because suddenly everything's ringing together, and I couldn't wrap my head around how he was doing that. All right, so let me show you. I've got about 5 of them written down here, but the concept is what I want you to look at. All right, the first pentatonic pattern that I have down here is just a pentatonic scale lick in C. This is the one that I learned off of that Adrian Legg project. So here's what it sounds like. Let me play one more time. Now everything is ringing together, so that's rule number 1. You got to let everything, what makes this lick work is that everything is overlapping each other. So you try and keep the fretted notes held as long as you can and overlapping into these open strings that are going to be sounding out as well. So let's talk about this. We're going to start here. If I just played the notes, it would be this. But that sounds very different than this. So what's happening? I'm going to come up here to the 6th fret, and I'm going to play my C with my 2nd finger. And then D would normally be here, but I'm going to play it open on the 4th string. Notice the tab down there. I've also have written in the finger numbers that are the circle numbers, so you see which finger you're supposed to be fretting here. But C, then open D, then 1st finger is going to catch the E, then I have the open G. So even just that, I've got this whole C2 chord ringing out by the time I've just played 4 notes. Everything is still ringing. Now, what do I have after that? My 1st finger's got to move down from the E to the A at the 7th fret on the 4th string. I'm going to still try and hold down the C, hold down as much as I can. And then an open B. And now there's no way for me to play a C except by coming over here with my pinky. So here I have to start kind of a new shape. Pinky's going to catch the C at the 4th string 10th fret. 1st finger's going to catch the D at the 3rd string 7th fret, but they're going to overlap. So I'm not going to go. I'm going to let them overlap. And then the next one will be an E, and then we can play that open. So all that lick together is. And you just let everything ring through. And you create this wonderful sort of harp sound. Of everything ringing out. I just love that sort of a concept. You keep the fretted notes down and you try and overlap with these open strings. Anywhere you can play an open string, you play an open string. Now, let me give you a little warning from somebody who's done this. The fingerings are going to feel not intuitive because you're used to playing guitar in positions. Maybe even So you're used to playing fingerings like this. So when I'm flipping strings and some strings are open and some strings are fretted higher up on the neck, it just doesn't make sense to a normal guitar fingering. That's okay. Just practice them slowly and you will start to get the hang of how to do it. Just the tab is right. Trust the tab and trust the finger numbers, and that will guide you. And once you get used to kind of how they're overlapping, these will become easier for you. But at the first time when you do it, it just doesn't make sense because it doesn't land on guitar like you would think it should land, because it's kind of a new thing to do on guitar. That's the first one. That's a great lick if you want to throw something at the end of something in the key of C. Oh, it's a great little lick. Take a look at the second one. All right, so now let's go using pretty much those same notes and that same idea. I want overlapping strings, overlapping notes with open strings. Well, if I threw a G at the bottom of that and then kind of played a little bit of a G pentatonic up here using almost the same notes, I get an overlapping G scale, G pentatonic scale. It would work over a G chord, a G6/9, something like that. Let me play this lick for you. This is pattern number 2. One more time. You have to be very precise with your fingering on these. So this one, I'm starting on my G down here at the 3rd position, 6th fret, or 6th string, 3rd fret. And then I'm going to hit the open A after it. Shift up here with my 2nd finger and play the B on the 6th string. And then what would be next? A D, so I hit that open. Then I have an E on the 7th string or the 5th string of the 7th fret. Hit the open G, hit the A, and again, trying to get as much as possible to overlap. You can't get everything to overlap, but if you can keep something down so that something overlaps, it kind of fools the ear to think that you've got all kinds of things ringing. So I'm just going down my 7th fret, really. But in order to catch this high G, I've got to shift up here to the 2nd string, 8th fret. I'm going to cover that with my 3rd finger. So that's really the highest note in this particular pattern. Then I work my way down. So I have this G, open E, D on the 3rd string, open B, A on the 4th string, open G, E on the 5th string, open D, B on the 6th string, open A, G. So put all of that together. And by the end you have this beautiful ringing G chord. Great little lick if you want to end something in the key of G or throw that in the key of G. It works well. All right, so now you've given a lick in the key of C, a lick in the key of G. Now, I can also do one. I've got the pattern number 3 there. I've got an open E, so I possibly could do something in the key of E. E and a B I could play open. So what do we end up with? I'm going to do a descending E major scale, and it sounds like this. Now this one, I start to combine hammer-ons and pull-offs in it. All right, so what am I doing here? I hit the low E, I hit the high E, so just 6th string, 1st string. And then with my 1st finger, I'm gonna reach over on the 2nd string, 4th fret and catch the D sharp. And again, letting everything ring. Now, the C sharp there, on the 3rd string, I have a little pull-off thing there. There actually isn't a pull-off there, that's a mistake in the music. Then I have an open B, so I take my 1st finger off and hit the open B on the 2nd string. Now here's my pull-off between the 2nd finger A to the 1st finger G sharp. First finger G sharp. So I still have the open B, the high E, or excuse me, the open E, high E, B, all that's still ringing. Now in order to continue the pattern, I got to find an F sharp. So I'm just playing F sharp there on the 5th string at the, what is that, the 9th fret? And then I end up on the E at the 5th string, 7th fret. A fun little lick in the key of E. So if you're going through in the key of E, it's just a great little way to end a song or something like that. And everything is ringing through. All right, so that's a good one. If I flip that around, I can also do an ascending version of that. So take a look at pattern number 4. This one's a little bit different. So I hit the E, and I hit the F sharp, hammer on from the F sharp to the, excuse me, the G sharp to A. So let me do that one again. So what's happening here? I'm hitting the E, low E, then I'm hitting the F sharp on these, what is that, 5th string, 9th fret? G sharp on the 4th string at the 6th fret, to the 2nd finger A. There's my open B, so I don't play an open B, I play the open B. Okay. First finger's going to catch that C sharp here. I'm going to hammer on to this D sharp with my 3rd finger. Then it's time for an open E, so I've got a 1st string open. So far I have. Now if I wanted to keep going up, I hit the F sharp at the 7th fret on the 2nd string, and I hammer up to the G sharp. Alright, so that's that. Now, I want to go catch the A and the B, but that's awkward, so I thought, well, maybe I could do a harmonic there. So I'm going to reach over and catch the A as a harmonic on the 4th string at the 7th fret. Now, if you haven't done a harmonic before, I'm just touching the string at the 7th fret. I'm not pushing it all the way down. I'm just touching it above the fret. It takes a little bit of practice to get the feel of it. Also, if you move your hand back a little bit, it's a little bit easier. So that's the A. So while holding on to that G sharp, I hit the A with my 1st finger, and then I can catch the B on the 12th fret of the 2nd string and have those ringing together. So now I've got. Over here to the 9th position, I catch the C sharp, 3rd finger the E sharp, or the D sharp, and then I could just go like that, or I can hit the harmonic. Then you end up with all this kind of ringing through there. Now if you want to even get more slick, you could even maybe hit the harmonic, an F sharp at the 2nd string, 7th fret, and then maybe the high B on the 7th position of the 1st string harmonic, then maybe even a harmonic up here at the 1st string, 5th fret. So if I add all of that together, and whoa, what a gorgeous sound of all of those strings and frequencies going together. Now that one, we've slowly been adding technique. So initially it was just keeping your finger down and overlapping the open string. Now I'm adding hammer-ons, and now we're adding harmonics to the problem. So we've got. There you go. All right, whew, got one more. Now, but understand, before we jump to this one, understand the concept of what's going on. I try to notate as best I can. in the PDF that goes along with that. Those little arcs are indicating if I'm ascending, it would be a hammer-on. If I'm descending, it would be a pull-off. And then you'll notice in this one on pattern 4 that the notes, some of the notes there in the last measure have a triangle instead of a note head. That is a way to indicate that those are harmonics. So the A and the B with the triangle note heads, those are harmonics. Now, the idea is I'm just kind of creating this cascading thing going up or down. Now, but I just did it over a major scale. They're an E major scale. I could do it over an E minor scale. Now, there's several different E minor scales. I did a lesson back when on minors and the different minor scales that are involved there. But if I wanted to just transpose this to a minor scenario, well, I came up with the last one there, pattern number 5. So this one, I have an open E, open D, and then I'm going to go from the E on the 5th string to the F sharp. So I have that so far. And I have the open G. And again, I'm trying to, so while I'm hitting that, going for that A, I'm still keeping that F sharp down. Now I have to shift positions here in order to catch this C right here at the first finger on the 3rd string at the 5th fret. Now I'm going to hammer onto the D, so 1 to 3 there. And it only works because you have the other things that are ringing through. Now I want an F sharp, so I'm going to scoot back up here and catch the F sharp with my 1st finger up here at the 7th position and catch the G there from the F sharp to the G. So now I have. Now I'm going to do my trick I did before with the A harmonic at the 7th fret of the 4th string, B harmonic at the 2nd string 12th fret, and then instead of a C sharp, I'm going to hit a C, because that's what it is at E minor. And then just for fun, I could have done a D, but I thought I'd throw a D sharp in there, just to kind of give a little bit more of a leading tone there. And then let's end on some harmonics to sound really flashy. I'm going to do 3 strings harmonics. And I'm over the 12th fret. And you end up with a low E there. So let me see if I can put all this together. One more time. If you're really slick, you can catch that E minor harmonic at the 1st string or at the 5th fret harmonic on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd string. That's really tough to catch that up there. Some fun licks, some fun cascading major scale and minor scale, ascending and descending licks and patterns that you can use with open strings and fretted notes. And then you eventually combine in the hammer-ons and pull-offs and harmonics to create some great sounding licks. So have fun practicing those. It takes a while. I'll warn you now, it takes a while to get them. Go very slow. And that will train the hand to do it because it just doesn't feel natural in a lot of these circumstances. But a little bit of focused, slow, diligent practice and you'll get them. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.